I remember the sound first, the sharp echo of her heels striking the marble floor as she finally entered the restaurant. 5 hours late. I had been sitting there the whole time, nursing my second bottle of wine, pretending not to notice the pitying glances from the waiters and the quiet sympathy in strangers' eyes. The candle on my table had burned low, the cake they brought out earlier had collapsed into itself, a sad symbol of the night. And then she appeared, my wife. Not alone, of course. She came flanked by 2 friends, glossy with champagne laughter. "See," she announced loudly, loud enough for every head to turn. "Told you he'd still be here, waiting like a pathetic puppy." They all laughed, a cruel, careless chorus that cut deeper than silence. I smiled. I raised my glass. And in that moment, I decided the war was already over. It hadn't always been like this. Once upon a time, she looked at me as if I were the only man alive. She whispered promises in the dark. We built a home together, spoke of children, of a future. For years, I believed in her. I believed in us. But love doesn't rot in a single night, it decays slowly, hidden beneath perfume and excuses. She began working late, guarding her phone, treating me like furniture she had long since outgrown. I noticed. I always notice. That night, while her friends ordered drinks on my tab and mocked me between sips, I replayed the last year in my mind. Every lie. Every slip of her tongue. Every hollow apology. The pain, once sharp as glass, shifted into something else. Cold. Precise. Purposeful. They thought I was weak. A man too desperate to walk away. A man chained by love. They mistook patience for weakness, silence for surrender. They had no idea who they were laughing at. The planning began quietly. I didn't storm out. I didn't confront her. Confrontation gives the enemy time to regroup. Instead, I studied. I collected. I listened. Her phone was easy. She was careless, too confident. One night while she showered, I mirrored her messages to my laptop. The truth unfolded. Hotel receipts. Whispered texts to a man named Eric. Photos she thought she had deleted. It didn't hurt anymore. The evidence wasn't emotional, it was ammunition. Next came the accounts. I had always managed our finances. She never cared for the details, too busy spending. With small, quiet adjustments, I rerouted funds, created reserves under my name, shifted assets out of her reach. By the time she ever noticed, if she ever did, she'd find nothing but smoke and mirrors. Then came the will. Revised. Notarized. Locked. Every path she thought secured, life insurance, property, savings, slipped from her hands into mine. And all the while, she still laughed at me at night, oblivious, convinced she was winning. I let her think so. The execution began on my birthday. When she walked out of that restaurant with her friends, she thought she had humiliated me. In truth, she had marked the day I became free. I left the bill untouched. Hours earlier, I had spoken to the manager and quietly transferred the reservation to her name, her card. Watching her face when the staff delivered the check, 5 hours worth of bottles, appetizers, indulgence, was the first taste of satisfaction. She paid, fuming, while I walked home beneath the city lights, lighter than I had felt in years. The real strike came later. Divorce papers, perfectly timed, perfectly stacked with evidence of her affair, delivered straight to her office, where her colleagues, the same people she had boasted to about her perfect marriage, would watch her mask crack. Eric, the man she thought her future belonged to, received his own package. Photos. Screenshots. Timestamps. His wife got hers too. I made sure of it. I didn't need to scream. I didn't need violence. My revenge was surgical. Public enough to shame. Legal enough to stand. Private enough to cut where it hurt most, her pride. This morning, my phone lit up, 98 missed calls. Her name over and over again. She knows now. About the accounts. About the house. About Eric's wife packing his things and locking him out. About the job she may soon lose, her reputation crumbling under whispered gossip. I didn't answer. I poured my coffee, sat by the window, and listened to the quiet. Do I regret it? No. Love is supposed to be a covenant. She turned it into a performance. She thought I was just the audience clapping while she danced with other men. She forgot I was the stage itself. She could only stand as long as I allowed her to. She wanted me to be a pathetic puppy waiting at a table. Instead, I became the wolf walking away, leaving her surrounded by the ruins she created. I imagine her now, pacing, dialing again, her voice cracking into panic. Her friends, the same ones who once laughed at me, now avoiding her calls, not wanting to be dragged into the wreckage. Eric, begging his wife for forgiveness, while my wife finally realizes she was only ever a distraction, never the prize. And I smile. Because revenge isn't about rage, it's about control. Precision. Timing. It's about holding your silence until it becomes the loudest weapon in the room. When I walked into that restaurant on my birthday, I was still a husband. When I walked out, I was something else. Free. Untouchable. And finally done waiting.